So after going up Dickey Bell, we went ahead and took Dutch John down. I just showed you guys a video on the Dutch John Trail, so I didn't get a whole lot of footage from there. But we took that and connected it over to Wolf Den and the Falls Dam Trail. So this is the trailhead at Falls Dam. And the only noteworthy feature over here is the big mud pit. I'm told that it's got a rock bottom and that it's not a whole lot of mud, it's just muddy water. But I have seen people get stuck out here, but it is fun if you're into the mud. So if you want to avoid the mud pit, you just go to the parking lot, and the entrance to the trail connects back over near kind of the unloading ramp and the little information booth, and that's the Falls Dam Trail. The first several minutes of the Falls Dam Trail is basically going to be a flat, wide open dirt road. There are going to be a number of clearings on the left, and you can see where a lot of people go camping here. So there's a lot of vehicles here that are not built up for off-roading. So if you have a stock or two-wheel drive vehicle and you just want a spot to camp, this is a good place to go. The next landmark you'll see is kind of this sweeping left-hand turn next to the guardrail, and there's still no real obstacles up until this point. So just a few minutes into the Falls Dam Trail, you're going to reach the main obstacle. This is going to be a downhill section in this direction, and it's just going to be a number of different rocks with different amounts of dirt washed out in between them. The difficulty of this section will vary from season to season, just depending on weather conditions and the amount of erosion that you get. And I did spend some time going up and down this section, so I'm going to stitch together a number of different clips so you can kind of get a feel for how to navigate it. I approach this obstacle as straight as possible, trying to line up the driver's side of my vehicle with that large rock structure. My front passenger side tire did have to engage that larger rock, but I tried to hit it as a straight line a little bit so I could crawl right over it without getting a lot of steering feedback. You can see that there's a pretty good gap between the two rocks that we've been going between right here. There's nothing really sticking up that can drag your axle or scrape your undercarriage or damage any underbody components. Obviously a four-wheeler has no problem hitting that gap between the two rocks. Larger vehicles, you're just going to have to hug the side of the rock structure that's on the right side of the screen right now and line up your other tires with that other rock and try and crawl over it. I have seen people try and go up this obstacle by going far to the left over by the guardrail. I think it puts you off camber a little bit more, but you don't have to deal with the rocks. Obviously my truck is lifted with big tires and I've got rock sliders and armor, so I don't mind going through the rocks here. So I did find a couple of clips of me in this section from 2019 just to give you an example of how this section can change from season to season. Here you can see there's actually two large ruts, and there's a rock sticking up in the middle of the hump in the middle of the ruts. I don't want to drag my rear axle on that, so that's why I'm straddling the leftmost rut. My front passenger side tire is going to engage on that rock, and my front driver's side tire is going to be on the large rock formation. This does get me off camber a little bit to the passenger side, but it's not too bad. Actually, I could have gone more to the driver's side, which would have put me more off camber, but that would have allowed my rear passenger tire to engage the rock a little better. You can see here it kind of slips to the side. No big deal because I'm already off the obstacle by that point. So now we're back to the current clips from 2020 and I'm going down this obstacle, but this time my line is a little bit further away from that rock formation by the driver door. I'm trying to make a hard driver's side turn to go through the gap, but I still catch my front passenger side tire on that larger rock. You can see how much it flexes the steering system and forces me to turn hard right, and that puts my rear tire going directly over that large rock. I do end up banging my shackle there because I was a little too far to the passenger side than I wanted to be, but that's a pretty durable part of the vehicle that can take a hit. Other than that section, the rest of the Falls Dam Trail is pretty much like the rest of Uwharrie, similar to Rocky Mountain Loop or Slab Pile. It's going to have the signature Uwharrie speed humps. There might be a couple rocks here and there, but nothing that forces you to take a precise line. In this instance, you can see a decent sized rock in the middle of the trail right next to the Jeep, next to the driver's side door, but you can pretty much go to either side of that and miss it. I'm going down it, and I'm going to put my left tires on the rock as I'm going downhill. Again, I could have avoided it 100% if I wanted to, but it's really not difficult to get around. So the majority of this trail footage should look pretty non-eventful and familiar to you if you've ever been to Uwharrie or seen my other videos on Uwharrie. Here I'm just pulling over so my friends on four-wheelers can catch up to me. And I did notice a nice Nissan Xterra passing me on the trail over here. They were part of the Nissan Off-Road Association of the Southeast, which was having a big trail run on the same day. So here's another example that's common at Uwharrie, which is where you have kind of a split off where you can go to one side and have more rocks, or go to the other side and kind of bypass it. The Jeep took the left line, which has some more rocks. I basically took the easy way out and just went around them. So this is kind of the last unique section at the base of the Falls Dam Trail. There's two lines, one to the left and one to the right. In this direction, if you stay right, there's usually some ruts, and it kind of bypasses the rocks, but it does put you more off camber, and sometimes you have to straddle the ruts, and that puts you pretty close to the edge of the hill. I like to stay all the way to the left, which is flatter, but you are on top of a rock formation. And then when you come off the rock formation, it is down and to the right. So I like to hug left as much as possible and then take a hard passenger side turn right as I'm coming off that rock formation. It does get a little bit tippy and makes you kind of feel uncomfortable if you're not used to off-roading, but it's not too difficult.